Hi, everybody. This is Kathy L. Murphy, the Pulpwood Queen. I'm reporting live from my little cabin in the woods, and I didn't really plan this, but I noticed that all the books tonight that I have selected for the month of April are all in this turquoise teal color. It's just, it must be a subliminal message to me, but I'm going to be announcing our books tonight. But first, a little preface to everything that's happening. We have 4 authors of the month. Here comes Wanda Chang. We have 4 authors of the month. We have our book of the month. We have our international read of the month. We have our 2 bonus books of the month, but we had 5 weeks in March. So we had an extra week. So Mandy and I decided that we would announce tonight our April book club selections. And she has got a really big issue coming out of Reading Nation magazine. So on our blog this week, she's going to be posting all kinds of teasers for that newsletter that's going to come out in April 1st. Not April, I know it's April Fool's Day, but it will be coming out April 1st. So I guess that's why I'm announcing the books early. And I want to tell you that she's got a fabulous deal right now. It was a slow month. So she decided to offer a one-time only, $25 a page. So to get authors back on board, you can advertise your book. And you guys, she's up to what, 78,000 clicks and over 15, almost 16,000 read-throughs of the entire magazine. I am just astounded. And I'm doing a real push this week too to get everybody subscribed to our YouTube channel, because all of these are recorded and they're put up on YouTube. And I've done over 300 of them. So I want all our membership, all our authors, and everybody just click it. It's free. There's nothing you have to do but click subscribe, and let's get that readership up on the YouTube channel. But we have here tonight all authors. Well, except Jacob, I'm sorry. Jacob runs the Reading Corner, and he has become a devoted follower, as I am, of his wonderful blog on reading. And so we welcome Jacob here. We've got Kathleen Rogers here, one of our authors. We've got James Garrison, who just finished a fabulous week of blogging. I enjoyed every minute of it. We've got Rebecca Copeland just here, and Wanda Chang, faithful Wanda, is here tonight to listen to me announce the book. So I'm going to announce the books, and I'm just going to do a little short reading and synopsis, and then I'm just going to open it up for discussion and sharing news. You guys are here. I want you to share all your stories about your books and what's happening in your world. So the first, I'm going to have to put my readers on because I'm at that stage, you all, where I have to use the readers. But our first book, our April book of the month, is The Lost Book of Eleanor Dare by Kimberly Brock. Now, Kimberly Brock has been a Pulpwood Queen author for many, many years. Years ago, I'm trying to remember which book I had. It doesn't have them listed.
The River Witch.
The River Witch. That's when I had her come. And the wonderful thing about Kimberly is she jumped in with both feet, and she has written all these fabulous books, but this one was so incredible, I made it the book of the month. And I'm going to begin with the prologue. I'm going to do a little reading. This is so perfect for us. The summer I turned 13, my mother took me into the forest to work a charm that was my right from birth. They say what happened there might have killed me. I think I might have killed her instead. I thought I would be like her and all the women before me in my mother's family. For a generation, they'd come of age by inheriting a vision and learning of a myth, whispered from mother to daughter. But no vision had ever come. The charm that had been uttered for generations turned to poison in my hands. And when my mother died, the myth and all it meant went with her. The story I was left with is one I've never told. The truth is, Things have taken a wrong turn even before the trail faded beneath the palmetto fronds, flooding out into the swampy ponds as the light fell over the wetland. First, Mama lost her sense of direction. Then in the night, she lost her mind. And while I'd slept beneath the hush of tall pines, secure in her love, she deserted me. It was a wonder, people later said, that I found my way home, surviving the sucking mud and the creatures that might have devoured me. And in fact, when I ran into the yard the next morning, some thought I was a ghost. To my horror, so did my mother. She took one look at me and said, "Who are you, child? Tell me." I had no answer for her. My mother taught me that a story matters not because it is true, but because it's been told. I don't know if I believe this, but I've been trying to find a way to tell myself the story of that night with Mama, my whole life in hopes that one day the ending will change. For while we both came home that day, the truth is, both of us disappeared. Once there was a little girl who went into the forest. Until now, I tried to forget what happened. I never planned to go back to that place, but that was before I had a daughter of my own. Now she looks to me with questions all daughters are bound to ask their mothers. Who are you? And I hear the echo behind that question. Who am I? Even if I have no answer, I am still my mother's daughter. And so I will give to my own daughter the only story I know and hope that if I tell it well, she will find the answers she needs. Once there was a girl who always took a dare. Once there was a girl who went to sleep and awoke someone else. Once there was a girl who could always find her way home. Okay, you guys, this is our April book of the month. Isn't it a beautiful cover with the peacock feathers and the key and the ribbon? The Lost Book of Eleanor Dead by Kimberly Brock. Very excited to be discussing it, and she'll be coming up. Next up, we have Alice C. Early. Alice is the most interesting author I think I've ever spoke to. She's a world traveler, and she's our International Book of the Month, The Moon Always Rising, a novel by Alice C. Early. She's winning all kinds of awards, and I'm going to give you a little synopsis because you kind of need to know this. When her life in Scotland cracks apart, feisty Eleanor Els Gordon exiles herself to a derelict plantation house on the Caribbean island of Nevis, only to discover she's cohabiting it with a ghost of a former owner. The ghost must leave this world. Els must figure out how to go on living in it. As they each test the power of forgiveness, she helps him atone for his messy life while he prods her to reclaim her courage, untangle long-held family secrets, and allow herself to risk loving again. When I talked to Alice the first time, she told me how, she lives here in the United States, but she travels to Scotland and this Caribbean island. She's just been everywhere. And in fact, she's going to be out of the country when it comes time for her blog to come up. So she's going to be sending them to me early. But I'm going to begin with an epigraph. Nothing I cared in the lamb white days that time would take me up to the swallow throng loft by the shadow of my hand. In the moon there is always rising, nor that riding to sleep. I should hear him fly with the high fields and wake to the farm forever fled from the childless land. Oh, as I was young and easy in the mercy of his means. Time held me green and dying, though I sang in my chains like the sea. Dylan Thomas. Fern Hill. There's a little author's note I'm going to read too quickly. I've had the good fortune to visit Nevis annually since 1996. In addition to providing inspiration for The Moon Always Rising, Nevis granted me space and tranquility to write and edit much of this book. I grew to know and love the island, always recognizing how limited my visitor's grasp of his true heart might be. And when we get to the end, you all, I'm going to talk about where we write and what inspires us. But the Moon is Always Rising, a novel by Alice C. Early. Isn't that a beautiful cover? All these covers, it's just ironic to me that I picked them when they all have this blue cover. Then we're on to bonus book. This is The Passing Storm. It's a novel. It's by Christine Nolfi, and she also is the author of The Road She Left Behind. This is a gripping, open-hearted novel about family, reconciliation, and bringing closure to the secrets of the past. Early into the tempestuous decade of her 30s, Ray Langdon struggles to work through a grief she never anticipated. With her father, Connor, she tends to their Ohio farm, a 40-acre spread that itself has enjoyed better days. As memories swept through her, some seem too precious to bear. Ray gives shelter from a brutal winter to a teenager named Quinn Galecki. Quinn has been thrown out by his parents, a couple too troubled to steer the misunderstood boy through his own losses. Now Quinn has found a temporary home with the Langdons and an unexpected kinship because Ray, Quinn, and Connor share a past and understand one another's pain. But its depths and all its revelations and secrets have yet to come to light. To finally move forward, Ray must confront them and also fight for Quinn, whose parents have other plans in mind for their son. With forgiveness, love, and the spring thaw, there might be hope for a new season. A second chance Ray believed in her heart was gone forever. Well, I'm telling you, we're all ready for the spring thaw. Everything we've been through with COVID, it has been crazy. Christine has written a lot of books. I mean, a lot. And The Passing Storm just came into my view. And I'm just going to read a little bit of her book. He never worked during school hours, yet there he was inside the bustling craft emporium, stocking shelves near the front. Snow swirled through the air, a battering of cold pinpricks on her cheeks. Wiping away the dampness, Ray took hesitant steps toward the shop and peered through the display window. A dark pulse of grief pierced her deeply. Why wasn't he at the high school with the other kids? What right did he have to disregard their unspoken agreement by putting in hours at noon on a Tuesday? Ray avoided the shop whenever he worked, Saturdays too if he was on schedule. Her office was only 3 doors down on Chardon Square. Ray missed the spontaneous stop-in she'd once taken for granted, especially now when she needed her closest friend as a bulwark against the sorrow. But she didn't have a better solution to avoid running into Quinn Galecki, other than ensuring they were never in Eunice Craft Emporia at the same time. The Passing Storm by Christine Nolfi. I think you'll be on your edge of your seat for this one. And our last book of the month is it's a teenage book, a young adult, but it really is a crossover book. It's called Spin Me Around by David Valdez. When you wake up in the past, the future is yours. David also years ago came to me. He had written a book about these beauty queens that did really strange. They were beauty queens for very strange pageants. And it fascinated. Rhinestone Queen was the name of the book. And I have been fascinated with David ever since. He's a playwright, screenwriter. But this book is really important because right now, and I always get the acronym wrong, in this age of the LGBTQ, learning all about the acceptance of people who are really in a horrific place of, for years, being silent about who they were in the world and how do they come out to their own family and friends and parents and all these different people. I thought this was a really good book that people would understand. And I listened to Jacob Marquez when he had David on and Robert Gwaltney. And if you get a chance, did we ever get that up there, Jacob?
It's on YouTube. I'm still working on it, but it's pinned under the feature thing in the group. It's pinned under that. And if
When
they,
you get it ready, I want to share it. It's probably one of
and
the
then
best author discussions I've ever heard on a book and the story, and it's very powerful. But I'm going to tell you what it's about. From lauded writer David Valdez, a sharp and funny YA novel that's Back to the Future with a twist as a gay teen travels back in time to save a closeted classmate's life. All Luis Gonzalez wanted to do was go to prom with his boyfriend, something his progressive school didn't allow. Not after what happened with Chaz Wilson, but that was years ago when Luis' parents were in high school. It will never happen again today, right? He's determined to find a way to give his LGBTQ friends the respect they deserve. When a hit on the head knocks him back in time to 1985 and he meets the doomed young Chaz himself, Luis concocts a new plan. He's going to give this guy his first real kiss. Though it turns out a conservative school in the 80s isn't the safest place to be a gay kid, Luis is over his head, trying not to make things worse and hoping he makes it back to present day at all. With a voice that's fresh, intersectional, and wickedly funny, David Valdez offers a smart take on coming out culture with a spin, introducing a big-mouthed, big-hearted queer character that readers won't soon forgive. It was the Rhinestone Sisterhood. I said the Rhinestone Queen, but it was the Rhinestone Sisterhood. It was about these beauty queens, and it was absolutely fascinating. I've got this beautiful, I love it when authors give me their personal notes. Okay. I've got to read this. It's a note to the reader. Dear reader, when I was a kid, I read a lot. I mean, a lot. My small town library had 6 books a week rule, but a half a dozen books never lasted me a week. So sometimes the librarian let me cheat the system by also taking out books under my brother's name. Hundreds of books a year, the best ones twice. And never once, not a single time, did I read a book with a Cuban character, much less one who was my age. And gay? Not in that library. My story didn't seem to exist. My daughter, who is African American, is growing up in a very different time than I did, but she too experienced the comparative scarcity of characters of color, especially in the books chosen as required reading in school. She noticed early on how often the kids of color who do make it into a story are the sidekicks of the hero, not the stars of the show. When I started Spin Me Right Around, I knew that the kids of color had to be the heart of the action, not just the spectators. I knew I wanted a story whose hero is a queer kid and that he wouldn't be the only one. I wanted it to be fun, the kind of book I'd checked out of the tiny library more than once. It's a thrill I got to write the book I wanted to read as a kid, a book for me and my daughter, and for all of us hungry to see our stories filling the shelves. Happy reading. I'm telling you, this is so great. Just one other part. This is farm country, so maybe prolonged exposure to, I don't know, silos makes you fearful of the gays. The town here, including mine, was pretty small, but always have room for at least 3 churches and everyone's in everyone's business. There's no public high school in Annex Springs. If you want that, you have to go to Schulerhook Regional, which is like a half an hour away, with kids from 6 other towns. We only have the academy and the cringe-worthy code of conduct, with a raft of stale prohibitions that date back to my mom's day. So farm country, old school rules equals no gays at prom. I'm about to change that. This isn't just for me and Chang. These are 2 more not exactly secret queer couples and a few more who would bring same-sex dates if they could. And even in a small school, we have 4 kids beyond Nick's who use them, they pronouns. So this policy doesn't just ban them, it ignores they exist. This is about justice. This is about equity. This, okay, fine, I want to be prom king. Before you judge me, everybody wants to be prom king, even maybe especially those who say they don't. Why wouldn't you want to know that your classmates picked you? Who wouldn't want that glorious yearbook spread and the car ride and the Memorial Day parade and all the eternal bragging rights? I want the real America dream, age 17 version, to dance with my boyfriend at prom, to take silly pictures in a photo booth, and a makeout during a slow dance so intently that our classmates say, "Get a room," as we laugh, but I know they secretly wish they had what Chang and I have. So yes, maybe it is all about me. I'm telling you, this is a wonderful read. I hope everybody reads it, even if they're uncomfortable with the subject matter. It's time we all get out of our comfort zones and enter the real world. I have had many conversations with my grown daughters, and when I went back to college in my late 50s, I had a real eye-opening experience because these kids didn't talk the way they did when I went to college. They're in so many ways so more sophisticated of the world that I found that they were mentoring me, not vice versa. So to find a wonderful book like this as a crossover, I just couldn't leave David off the list. So Jacob, don't forget to send me that when we get it up. I really want to share that with everybody. Now I would like to
I put the link in the chat to the actual interview. So they
and
click on
send it to me too, because I want to post it on social media.
Okay, yeah.
It's really wonderful. It's really wonderful. And I am thrilled that you all are here. And so if anybody has any remarks they want to say about any of the books, if they've read them, if they have any questions, just jump out at me and ask them now. Otherwise, we're just going to talk about you guys. So anybody have any questions or comments? All right. Well, I guess we'll just have to have it when we have the authors here. Now we'll start up on the left-hand corner. Kathleen, you've been on the road. You've been getting awards. You've got lots going on. What's the latest?
Thank you, Kathy. I went home to my home state of New Mexico. Jacob, you were born there, correct?
Yes.
In Albuquerque.
Yes, I was.
So military brat.
Yes.
Did my homework.
Yeah.
So I flew from Dallas Fort Worth Airport to Albuquerque, got to see family, then spent the night with my best friend from high school, and she drove me through the most beautiful landscape up to the Four Corners area of New Mexico to Farmington. And I went to an awards luncheon on March 12th, and the Flying Cutter Bucks was named the New Mexico Press Women 2022 Zia Book Award first runner-up. And I was thrilled for that. And Michelle and I sat at a table with Miss Navajo Nation.
I saw the photo.
Oh my gosh. And then the director of Miss Navajo Nation, Carlita. And Carlita came up to me after, they announced, we all got to, the three finalists, we gave our little spiels, and then they announced winner, first runner-up, second runner-up. And then afterwards, Carlita came up, the director for Miss Navajo Nation. And she said, Kathleen, I have to tell you, because I'd made a joke about flight attendants, because my protagonist, Trudy, had just taken an early retirement as a flight attendant. And Carlita told me she had been a flight attendant with United Airlines first, then American Airlines, but she was the first Native American flight attendant for United.
Wow.
So what I'm saying is I went, and it was fun because my book was honored and in my home state where I was born. But then the magic of meeting all these other people, and it was wonderful. And then I do want to say this, I'm a very, very slow reader. Most people that know me well know that. It takes me forever to read books, and it takes me a long time to write them. I am just now getting to this. So Debbie's not here, but I have to play. I'm just now reading.
Oh, good.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
When I read books and I know the authors, even if it's just through Facebook or Pulpwood Queen, I'll get to a certain page and then I'll just start messaging them. I know I'm annoying, but I'm like, oh my God, I'm on page such and such.
They love it. Believe me.
So But thank you. Thank you for mentioning that I was traveling, and I'm back home now.
Good, good. Well, we've got more events coming up that it's crazy. Okay, Rebecca, let's talk about you. What's going on in your book world?
Well, I mean, Kathleen, congratulations. That sounded like quite a whirlwind, and so exciting for you to be honored like that. That was really wonderful. So I can't quite follow up with that, but I did learn that the kimono tattoo won the independent 2022 Independent Press Award for multicultural fiction, thanks to my publisher for the nomination. And today, when I went to school, I had in my mailbox this official looking envelope from the office of the Chancellor Emeritus, so the former Chancellor. And he hasn't been Chancellor for a couple of years, but he sent me this really sweet letter that said, congratulations on receiving the 2022 Independent Press Award for your mystery novel, The Kimono Tattoo. This is well-deserved recognition of your important talent as a writer, and you have my every wish for continued success in your career. So I was just so touched.
I would frame that and
I think I will.
Writing room. That's awesome.
Isn't that, I mean, he's the chancellor of the university, and we have crossed paths on many occasions, but the fact that he first of all noticed he's a scientist amongst all the other little details, and then took the time to send a note. I thought that was just such a nice, generous act on his part. I'm so impressed by him.
Well, good for Kim Davis. I'm so excited that you got nominated, and I'm so happy.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to go down to Wandra Chang over here. What's new in Wandra's world? You're on mute.
Mute. Okay.
Okay.
Well, as always, I work very hard. You all know that because you see my post all the time.
Yes.
It's exhausting. And congratulations to you both for winning awards. And in my case, I didn't make any. My publisher nominated my book Sonju for National Book Award, National Critics Circle Award, and Hemingway or whatever, about 5 of them. I didn't make any. When you don't make even the long list, they don't send you anything, right? You just know that, it's about time that they announce, and you didn't get anything. I think they let you know ahead of time if you're going to win. So I said, okay, I didn't get that one. So I'm working on the second novel. Both of you have already written, so you have this experience. I really wish I knew what to expect, and I would have really started working very hard on the second novel right away. So now I am working on it, and I have 15,000 more words to write to call it a novel. So I am at 35,000. And so, yeah, it's going to be a short book. I'm not going to write a long book. So I wrote the final scene, and I'm very happy about it. Actually, I'm pretty excited about the final scene because it has the right tone. And so now, from now on, because my first draft is done. So from now on, I go back to the first page and just go over it and add more descriptions and details, and really, now I can tackle scene by scene and add and make it richer. So that's where I am at now. So I'm happy about it, but at the same time, I'm trying to market my book. And Kathy, I started Facebook when I became a member of Pulpwood Queen, and now I have over 3,300 friends, and it's hard to keep track of. But fortunately, quite a few of them keep in touch with me through posts or what have you. So I'm so grateful to them. And
Well-
so since I have that many friends, I felt like, I'm going to use it. So I promote other authors, and I know how I would appreciate it if somebody else did it. And I know what they go through because I'm going through it. So I try to do that as much as I can. So that's pretty much what's going on locally. I'm doing pretty well. I tell people I don't have connections, I don't have money, I don't have influence, but I have ideas. So through my brute effort, I was able to get, some things done, like 2 biggest local news organizations wrote about my book.
They sure did.
Right. And I also promote local and Texas-wide literary organizations like Writers League of Texas and Gemini Inc. locally. I do my best to support them. And what I am able to do is convince people to join join different organizations. That's what I do here locally. So anyway, San Antonio has a annual book festival, which draws about 20,000 people. And my book was chosen out of the lineup of 100 authors. So that's a great honor. It's nationwide authors.
It's a big book festival. That's a good one.
It's a one day, but it's a big, big day in San Antonio. So, at least I'm on that.
Well, one thing that you've done that I have not heard from very many authors, especially first-time authors, is how many books you sell at your events. I mean, what was the one you said you sold 76 copies? I'm going, what? On your 77. I mean, you've got to be kidding me. I mean, that is amazing, because as much as my Grand Central Publishing got behind me and I toured for a month and a half, I only had a couple of times where I really had big audiences in my hometown, in Wichita, Kansas, and at the Texas Library Association. I was the closing speaker. So I signed books for hours, 500, in fact. That was pretty cool. And I thought the rest of the book tour was going to be that way. I was wrong. So, but I was lucky because I took an entourage with me. I took 4 book club members with me, and I asked all my authors in each city to join me. So no matter where we went, it looked like we had people, but it's really hard, Wandra. And that was back in 2008. It is now 2022, and it's COVID. And it's like 300,000 books came out this year. It's really, really hard to get noticed. So that's why Mandy and I work 24/7 on trying to come up with even more ideas. We now have 5 reading initiatives up on that we meet, every month, and then our book club meets every week, and then our blog we do every day. We are constantly trying to find ways to get you guys out there. So all I've got to say is the more you join on these events that we do, if I get a chance, I let everybody talk, about what's going on in their life. These all get recorded. They're on YouTube forever. So it's like free advertisement for you out there. And people do get on there, and my viewership, I had 376 views this month. It's not quite over. And I only had 6 new members. So I asked everybody today, I want 1,000 members. I've got almost 5,000, members on my Facebook social media pages. Where are you? Where are they? Why aren't they watching your videos? So I need every one of you, if you haven't subscribed, to subscribe to the channel. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. It just helps, get the word out on everybody. So hang in there. Don't give up. Now, Jacob has some news about an event coming up that you want to share, Jacob, right?
Yes, we're going to be interviewing Robert Gwaltney about his fantastic book, The Cicatrix Tree, on April 4th. And some authors that have been really close to him are going to be doing the interview with us. So it's going to be a lot of fun. That's going to be on April 4th at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. And Reedy Corner and yesterday I did a fantastic, me and Robert did a fantastic interview with Deborah Goodrich Royce about her book, Ruby Falls.
Ruby Falls.
That was a fantastic interview. So, and then she's coming back to Reading Corner on April 25th, and we're going to do Finding Mrs. Ford because she's the author of the
Oh, I want to hear that.
We're doing that. So that's been good. So we're going to be doing that too. So thanks for letting me share that, by the way.
And I will be there, Jacob. I have doctor's appointments that day, and I'll be home by 6. So that's 6 o'clock Central Standard Time. Now, James Garrison, you have been blogging all week, and we have found out more wonderful things about you and your family, your stories, your childhood pictures, your photos. They're just fantastic. Is there anything you want to say from the experience or going forward? Any big news you want to share?
No, not really. I really appreciate the opportunity to share, and I appreciate those who've indulged me by reading and commenting on my post. My daughter-in-law with my family, they will often tell me, well, we've already heard that. And the last time I saw my daughter-in-law, who's German, she said, well, here we call these old man stories. And that's because the old men always repeat all the things they've done. She's actually a psychotherapist, and she's just a lovely person.
Oh, yeah.
But no, we're just nothing new. We're just sitting here, June and I, having a gin and tonic, and I have a fraught relationship with gin and tonics. The third time somebody threatened to shoot me, I was having a gin and tonic, and I spilled it when I fled.
Oh my gosh.
Then before I went to Vietnam, I decided I should get drunk. So I drove up the highway to a place called Catawba County, North Carolina, because we were dry. We only had moonshine. And I bought a fifth of gin, and I watched I Love Lucy and drank, I don't know what you call them, orange juice and gin as screwdrivers or something. And I was totally drunk, and I had a date that night. And so I had told my mother when she got home from her work at the mill that I had the flu, of course, and had her call the girl I was dating. And she's the one I was writing in the letter that I put on my post, which hopefully didn't gross anybody out too much.
Oh my goodness, James.
But the kicker is so I'm in bed about 7 o'clock that night, and the bed starts shaking. And in Piedmont, North Carolina, that was the first 3.5 earthquake they'd had in years. They occasionally have them. So I still remember here I am drunk and the earth is shaking.
Oh my gosh.
So that's all, nothing new.
I only think I've had gin once, and it reminded me of drinking trees because it's got kind of a, it's got a kind of a piney.
Yeah, kind of turpentine. I mean, but it has, it has tree stuff.
I thought the English had a good recipe for avoiding malaria.
Oh, I think it'd kill anything. I think it would, but I remember I had one time. I thought, man, this must be what drinking a tree would taste like.
Well, thank you for having me on. I appreciate you listening.
Everybody gets a turn. So we're excited, James. Thank you. And James Martin, I was not in Portland recently. That was back in 2017. And it was the weirdest thing. I was a college student. He emailed me today. He thought I had been in Portland. I'd gone to Kathy Heppenstall, which is one of our authors, book signing at Powell's. It just happened to be when I was up there, and I took one of my students, fellow students from the University of Texas with me, and she was just a kid, and we get there and we sit down, and Kathy gets to talk and she looks out in the audience. She goes, "Oh my gosh, everybody, you won't believe who's here. It's the Pulpwood Queen." And Ellie looks at me and she goes, "Are you like famous?" I go, "No, I'm not famous, but she's one of my authors." And she was just like, "You're famous." And it was just, we just had the funniest time there. But it was just happenstance that, and I thought, well, and then the next day we went and had breakfast with her at the Fur. Do you know where that is, James? The Fur, it's connected to a hotel.
Don't they have like concerts in the basement?
Yes. And the
Okay,
thing
yes.
about our university set that up for us to stay there. And I remember I got online to read about this place. It was so hip. I felt one whole wall in our room had Marilyn Monroe's head on it. It was weird. The other one was all glass. It was so hip. Outside everybody's rooms, there was a built-in ashtray, and you could buy the marijuana package when you stayed there. What? And you literally, if you bought the package, you got a box on your bed that was with all those CB, those lollipops and candies. And I go, and our university set this up. And then it was so funny because I was the oldest person there. She said, "Can you watch out for the kids?" I go, no, I'm a student. I'm not going to be responsible for anything. But it was the coolest hotel. And it had, if you ever go to Portland, eat at the Fur. It's a log cabin restaurant. And everybody looks like they just came out of the lumberjacks. It was perfect. It was perfect, James, because James is a former timber guy of the year. This is your place to go, James. And it's a perfect place for a power breakfast because they did this big lumberjack breakfast. So that's enough. But James is a former timber guy of the year. And he is, his book is coming up and we've had him come and he's up in you're in Portland, right?
Portland.
You're
Yes.
in Portland. He's up in the Pacific Northwest. So we're just kind of all over the place. And it's so great to have you here and everybody on board. I really kind of wish we had a bonus Tuesday night book club every month, because then we can talk and find out what's going on with all of you. It's just a great way to keep us connected until the next, book club convention. So anything else you guys want to share while we're on? Any observations, any great books you've read?
Well, I would just suggest you have a social night, maybe, a particular.
I'll do that. I will.
Yeah.
I'll try doing that once a month. And what's a good night for everybody? Let's just take a little poll here. Can't do a Tuesday night. Anybody want to throw anything in there?
Just Monday, Thursday.
Thursday would probably be better for me because Monday is when I do all my grocery shopping and I hate that. I hate Mondays. So Thursday, maybe we'll see about doing a Thursday night. That would be great. That would be great. And I have to tell you guys, I'm going to share a book. Adriana Trigiani's The Good Left Undone. I've been going every Tuesday night. I didn't get to do it tonight, but I usually go on her book club because it's before ours. And I've gotten to hear so many, Andrew McCarthy, J. Michael Fox, Matthew McConaughey, and she just had Rita Quillen on, which is one of her authors. So I can't tell you how great this book was. So we have a lot of great reads, and they're all up on our website, www.thepulpwoodqueens.com. So before you leave, go to YouTube, type in Kathy L. Murphy, click subscribe. It's so simple, and get all your friends to do it because then they can watch this where you guys get to talk. But the more you come on board, the more you talk, the more people will feel like they know you when it's time to vote for Book of the Year. And believe me, they always vote for the ones that participate the most every single time. So keep connected, and you guys just have a wonderful, wonderful end of spring break month. And now we're going into April, which is going to be a dynamo month. So Thanks for hanging with me. And for those who've had your turn, I wish you well, and I keep promoting. Just
All right,
you
one
post
word.
once a day on the official Pulpwood Queens and Timber Guys book club. Any book news, do not post on the Pulpwood Queen blog page. That's for our bloggers. Yes, James.
I just wanted to, I didn't have my audio on. I just wanted to support what Wandra was saying about how we need to help each other. You know, each
Exactly.
month with the 4 people, you know, I try to do what I can. I can't read all 4 books every month. I'm a slow reader, but I can.
Nobody reads like I do, you guys. No, I know that. And if you read all 48 books that I picked for the year, I'm impressed. But you have to remember, Mandy and I got sent over 1,200. And every day I get an email, have you read my book yet? Will it be a pick? And I will tell anybody that's listening out there, when you send me a book, I take a photo of it, I share it on social media, and I'm now getting on there and I'm showing the book and doing little excerpts when I get a batch, just to show all the books that are coming in, because I can't pick them all. And
Right.
But I do want to support the authors who invest in our book club and are reading the stories. But you're absolutely right, James and Wandra, review the books. I would love to review, but I've been kicked off all Amazon and everything. They won't let me. They kick them back. They will not let me review. I think they think I'm getting paid to pick books, and I am not getting paid to pick books. People are joining for membership, but you do not pay me. I look at every book. I just happen to read the people that are members first. That just seems fair. I mean, you guys are invested. I want to read your books first, but it does not mean that you're going to be a pick. The best books get picked. That's just it, period. So yeah, keep doing that. And I pay really close attention to that. And when it comes to the end of the year, you know, and I have my own awards too. I like to recognize people that are givers. So thank you for doing that. And anything else you want to share before we go?
Thank you. Thank you for all that you do. Yeah.
Oh, you're welcome. I would do this, you guys. If I had a way to be independently wealthy, there's so much I would love to do, but I'm just like everybody else, struggling. You know, I've had no book sales this year. I've had no clothing sales, no art sales, but 2 lampshades. So it's been a tough spring for me. So I'm about ready to go out and do 3 exhibitions, and I'm going to be speaking at book clubs and things, trying to, just keep my head above the water. So y'all just understand that we're all in a shared community, but the more we help each other, the more it comes back. It does. It comes back. Yes, Kathleen.
Kathy, I just have to say, it's not about books, but that photo of you that you shared yesterday, I think you were holding your grandson at his 3rd birthday party. You looked just radiant.
I was all dressed up. I was the face painter, and it was a medieval party.
You did all the face painting? I went through
I did all the face painting of all these wild maniac kids. And I dressed like, I had a wreath and I had all these, medieval type clothes on. So by the time you saw the pictures of me, it was hot that day. And we were out.
You look beautiful. You were holding your grandson.
I was so happy because my grandson means the world to me, and my daughters and the whole family was really there. So we had a really great time, and I was glad to be out because I've been in for 2 years, and it's starting to take its toll on everybody. So y'all, let's just hang in there, support each other. Everybody who's watching this, please subscribe to the Kathy L. Murphy channel, and please join Reading Nation magazine and help Mandy. She's gone back to work too at the bookstore. It's been tough for us because, this is tough to keep everything going and the bills paid. So we understand completely how hard it is. It's all going to be fine. If you just wait for it, it happens. It happens. God takes good care of us. So thank you for joining. We'll see you. Let's see, what do we have? Today is Tuesday. I know we have book and film club this Saturday, but I'm pre-taping it. I'm told everybody to watch Beasts of the Southern Wild. I'm pre-taping it because because I have a evening of the arts at the Mount Pleasant Public Library with the university, and I am one of the exhibitors. So I'll be doing a show that night. But do watch them. They're all up on YouTube. And then hopefully Robert will be back after he gets off the book tour. And don't miss James' event because that'll be a lot of fun on April 4th. So hang in there and just have a wonderful reading life. It's all about the story.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
All right.